Good morning, everybody. So, myself Praveen Ramesh Ramteke. I am lecturer in electronics engineering and I will be teaching you the course Fundamental of Power Electronics. Before heading to the contents and all that about what is the meaning of power electronics, what is this subject, what is the material, what is the curriculum, etc., etc., let us discuss about the course. What itself is fundamental of power electronics? What are its contents? What are its curriculums? What are the course outcomes of this course? So I welcome all the students of third semester of electrical engineering program. The course code is 22326. So this is the course code 22326. So I will be introducing you about the program scheme and course teaching scheme. So in this program scheme, as prescribed by the MSBT Maharashtra State Board of Technical Education Mumbai, Diploma in Electrical Engineering, program code is EE and it is third semester, hence your code becomes EE3I. The scheme is I scheme. It is effective from the academic year 2017-18. So MSBT has framed this scheme since 2017. The duration of this course, which we will be learning, is 16 weeks. So, as per this MSBT program scheme, our course title is Fundamental of Power Electronics. Abbreviation is FPE. Course code is 22326. Teaching scheme consists of 4 lecture hours, practical hours for 2 hours for each batch. So the total credit is equals to 6. There are no tutorials. Now your examination scheme is as follows. You will having a theory exam as well as you will having a practical exam. The duration of theory exam is 3 hours. So in the end semester exam, it will consist of 70 marks only, and out of which you have to score at least 28 marks. So at least 28 is the passing marks for the end semester exam, which is of 70 marks. But for overall passing of 100 marks, the minimum passing is 40. So if you pass in the end semester exam, you will, if you score 28 marks out of 70, but if your score out of 100 is less than 40, you will be failing. So you have to score at least 40 marks out of 100, at least minimum 28 marks out of 70 in the end semester exam. Then you have the progressive assessment. The progressive assessment consists of two tests, sessional 1 and sessional 2. The sessional 1 and sessional 2 test will be of 20 marks each, and you will be having a micro project that will be of 10 marks. So there will be average of two tests plus the marks scored by you in the micro project out of 10. The addition will be added and out of 30 you will get the marks. So out of 30 marks, if you score 0 and out of this 70 marks, if you score 40 and above, means you will be passing. The point is 70 plus 30 must be greater than 40 for your passing. But If you score 28 marks out of 70 and below that, and your score is less than 40, you will fail. The point is, on paper, out of 70, you have to score more than 28. Out of 100, you have to score 40 or above. Now let us see the practical. Practical, you have end semester exam as well as progressive assessment. End semester exam practical is of external, minimum 10 marks you require. Progressive assessment means your term work. You have to perform the practicals, you have to duly submit the practicals, complete the practical work. So for that, you will be getting out of 25 marks for each practical. So this will be your internal progressive assessment. End semester exam practical will be external. You have to pass every progressive assessment and semester exam for practical individually. If you fail in one of it, you will be failing in whole course. So there will be 4 theory hours for your class. Total is 64 hours. So in the 64 hours, your course must be completed. So this is course teaching scheme as I have discussed. 4 theory lecture hours, 2 practical hours for each batch, theory exam 3 hours, end semester exam 70 marks. You have to score at least 28 for passing, and 100 out of you must score at least 40. Progressive assessment means test 1, test 2, as it is written here. 10 marks for the micro projects, and remaining 20 marks is the average of 2 tests to be taken during the semester for the assessment of the cognitive domain. Practicals, end semester practicals, external practical 25 marks, you have to score at least 10 marks. Progressive assessment 25 marks, you have to score at least 10 marks. The total, if you fail in PA, if you fail in ESE, in any of this, wherever minimum passing is required, means your whole course is failing. Rational. Now why we are studying this course? So day by day the enhanced development in the industry is dynamic in nature. So it is our role, so it is your role, mean the role of the students, the diploma engineering students, you are called as the technicians, has been changed. Power electronic devices and circuits play a major role in almost all the industries. So by the virtue of their operating characteristics, for which study of these devices means all the power electronic devices, basically the thyristor family, is very essential for the electrical and electronic technician to handle them. Hence, they must be well conversant with the power electronic devices and their application. So this course aims to impart the knowledge and skills related to the handling in terms of the applications and maintenance of this power electronic devices. Some students might be thinking that this name of the course is power electronics, so this course is related with electronics engineering. It is not like that. This power electronic course is specifically designed for electrical engineers, and electrical engineers must have the full conceptual technical knowledge about this course. They should not neglect or they should not take this course lightly. This course, Power Electronics, is specifically meant for electrical engineers. I am repeating it again. Don't take it lightly. So what kind of competency you will be developing? So the aim of this course is to help the students to attain the following industry identified competency through various teaching learning experiences. So what is the competency? To maintain the proper functioning of the power electronic devices. So you must know how to maintain, how to troubleshoot this power electronic devices and the applications of the power electronic devices. Now what are the various applications where these power electronic devices are used? So these are used in switch mode power supplies, these are used in UPS uninterrupted power supplies, these are used in inverters, these are used in choppers, these are used in regulated power supplies, these are used in induction heating, arc welding, dielectric heating. All these are industry applications. HVDC, high voltage DC transmission. Then it is used in battery charging systems, portable charging systems. It is used in burglar alarms, safety devices, anti-theft controlling devices. They are used in the cycloconverters. They are used in polyphase rectifiers, phase controlled polyphase rectifiers. They are used in all electronic industries which handles large power. They are used to control motor drives. They are used in railways. They are used in automobiles. They are used everywhere. Now, what are the course outcomes after learning this course? What you will gain? So, this whole course is divided into 5 units. Unit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And depending upon unit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there are 5 course outcomes. So, the outcome of first unit is to select power electronic devices for specific applications. Course outcome 2 related to unit 2, maintain the performance of thyristor. Course outcome 3 related with unit number 3, troubleshoot, turn on and turn off circuits of thyristor. Course outcome 4 related with unit 4, maintain the phase control rectifiers. Course outcome 5 related with unit 5, maintain industrial control circuit. In this unit you will be studying various applications of power electronic devices. So as per the MSBT, before detailing the theory contents, they have suggested what you are supposed to perform the practicals. So practicals are regarding the testing of power transistor, regarding the testing and functioning of IGBT, insulated gate bipolar transistor, testing of diode on AC, to plot the VI characteristics of SCR, to determine the latching and holding current, to control the firing angle of the SCR, then UJT triggering techniques, turn on and off techniques of SCR, to observe and record the voltage, output voltage waveforms for half wave controlled with resistive load, full wave controlled with resistive load, inductive load and effect of freewheeling diode, and we have to calculate the load voltage, to determine the firing angle using the diac and triac circuit, to simulate the firing angle control on the Scilab software. These are the simulations we have to perform. Then we have to test the performance of SMPS, UPS, burglar's alarm, emergency light, speed control systems, and temperature control systems. So wherever you are finding the asterisk mark, these asterisk marks are the compulsory practicals. So as it is 16 weeks course duration, we must try to perform at least 80%, means at least we should try to perform 12 practicals. Where there is asterisk marks, we will have to perform that practical. Now how the marking scheme is given. So 20% for experimental setup, 20% for the operation, safety measures 10 marks. So depending upon the Dave's psychomotor domain taxonomy, we have distributed the weightage in percentage. So we are on observations and recording 10 marks, interpretation of results and conclusion 20 marks, 20%. Then answer to the questions 10. Submission of reports in time 10%. So this 100% is divided to 25 marks for each practical. The practical outcomes are comprising of following social skills. So this is very important. Social skills, attitude, which are affective domain outcomes. Affective domains means what is your attitude towards performing the practical. How should you follow the safety practices? You should follow the safety practices. You should practice good housekeeping. Housekeeping here means how neatly and cleanly you perform the practicals. You should demonstrate the working of the whatever is the experiment as a team leader. You should maintain tools and equipments properly. You should handle the circuits. You should handle the devices such as cathode ray oscilloscope. You should handle the function generators properly, and you should follow the ethical practices. Ethical practices means you have to perform the practicals, you have to demonstrate the practicals by yourself. You do not have to depend on others. You have to perform the practicals individually. You must know how to perform, you must know how to demonstrate the practical. So this is what ethical practice. It should not be like that someone will perform, other will just keep on watching blindly, and he is unaware how to do the practical. This should not be there. Everyone has to personally perform and demonstrate the practical. Now let us see what are the theory contents. Unit wise there are theory contents. So unit 1 is the power electronic devices. So here we are going to see the very basic power electronic devices which are very important. For first power electronic component or device we are going to study is the power transistor. Then second we will be studying the IGBT, insulated gate power transistor, and third the single electron transistor. So we have to see the construction, working principle, VI characteristics, and applications of all these three: power transistor, IGBT, and single electron transistor. So we have to draw the neat sketches, we have to draw the construction, we have to interpret the VI characteristics, and why we are using these components, for which application we must be able to answer that. And if they are used in particular circuit, and if there is a failure, then we should be able to troubleshoot it. Second unit consists of thyristor family devices. It consists of SCR, very important component, SCR, silicon control rectifier. In addition to silicon control rectifier, we have to study LASCR, light activated silicon control rectifier, silicon control switch, gate turn off switch, unijunction transistor, programmable unijunction transistor, DIAC and track. We have to learn all these components in detail. We have to first focus our attention on SCR, DIAC and track. Then we have to focus our attention on UJT and PUT, and finally on SCS and GTO. Then we will study SCR mounting and cooling techniques, SCR protection circuits, over voltage protection circuit, over current protection circuit, snubber circuit, and crowbar circuit. And we have to also see the classification of the power semiconductor devices. We have to draw the sketches, VI characteristics, and troubleshoots procedure for these devices. Unit number 3, turn on and off methods of SCR. After studying the VI characteristics, we will see how the SCR can be turned on, how the SCR can be turned off. So turn on methods using the high voltage, thermal triggering, illumination triggering, dV by dt triggering, and gate triggering. Gate triggering circuits such as resistance triggering, resistance capacitance triggering, then SCR triggering using UJT, PUT, etc. Then pulse transformer and optocoupler based triggering also we have to study. And then we have to study the SCR turn on and off methods. Once the SCR is turned on, it must be turned off by using suitable circuits such as class A commutation, class B commutation, C, D, E, and F, or natural commutation. Unit 4 consists of phase control rectifiers. What is the meaning of phase control? What is the meaning of firing angle? What is the meaning of conduction angle? We must be able to explain these things. So phase control rectifiers have single phase, half control, and full control. Then we have midpoint control and bridge control. Then we have to study the effect of freewheeling diode. So here one thing I would like to say, that there is a huge difference between single phase half control, single phase half wave control, and single phase fully controlled rectifier. All these three are different. Half controlled, half wave controlled, and full wave control. All the three are different configuration. So we must know how to draw the circuit diagrams, how to draw the input output waveforms, how to calculate the value of average voltage for each of the given control rectifier. Last unit is the industrial control circuits. Here we will study the various applications of the SCRs, applications such as burglars alarm, battery chargers, emergency light systems, temperature controls using SCR, illumination control, fan speed control, SMPS, UPS online and offline, and SCR based AC and DC circuit breakers. So this is all about the contents of fundamental of power electronics. Then next is the suggested specification table, means how much is the teaching hours and how much is the marks allocated to that particular unit. So first unit, power electronic devices, 8 lectures are required. It is distributed as remembrance level, understanding level, and application level. So this R, A, U, and A indicates remembrance level, understanding level, and application level. So questions based on remembrance levels are less, and question based on application level are more. So first unit, 8 hours required, total marks 6, R1, U2, and application level 3. Second unit, thyristor family devices, teaching hour 16, remembrance level question 3, understanding level 6, application level 8, total 17 marks. Unit third, turn on and turn off methods, 14 hours required, remembrance level 3, understanding level 4, application level 7, total 14. Phase control rectifiers, teaching hours 18, remembrance level question 2, understanding level 6, application level 10. Total marks 18. Industrial control circuits, teaching hours 8, remembrance level 2, understanding level 5, application level 8. Total 15 marks. So your end semester exam, total 70 marks, 64 hours is the teaching hours duration. So this is as per the Bloom's revised taxonomy. At the end of the semester, you have to submit a micro project. Maximum 3 students can form a group. Maximum 3 students. I am repeating again and again. Maximum 3 students can form a group and they can make a micro project. So micro project has to be made by every student in a group of 3. 3 students will form a group and they will make a micro project, and this micro project has to be submitted along with your practical journal. So some suggested micro projects regarding the power electronic devices, such as build and test the circuit of electronics switch using the power transistor, control the operation with wireless devices. Then you can build the circuit logic gates and or not using the SCRs. Then you can design UJT oscillator, PUT oscillators, and you can design the triggering circuits using the PUT or UJT. Then you can design a phase control rectifiers for which you can control the speed of the DC motor. Then you can design fan regulator using diac and triac. You can design the SCR lamp flasher, or you can make any micro project based on the curriculum. There are many micro projects uploaded in the YouTube using the SCR. So books required for your course Fundamental of Power Electronics. First is the Introduction to Thyristor and their applications by Ramamurthy, but I will suggest single book, that is Power Electronics 6, serial number 6, MD Singh and Khanchandani. It's very good book, and I am having the PDF of this book. Maximum curriculum, around 80% curriculum is available in the book serial number 6, Power Electronics by Singh MD and Khanchandani. This book. So this book is very important. You must have this book. I am having the PDF and I will upload it in the group. Then for first unit, you require this serial number 9, Understanding the Nanotechnology Revolution by Edward L. Wolff, for unit number 1 only. All the books are very nice. Fundamental of Power Electronics by Bhattacharya, Power Electronics by Jain and Alok, Power Electronics by Rashid Mohammed. All these books are very nice, and but this book Power Electronics by MD Singh and Khanchandani is containing the maximum course. So I will suggest to use this book, hard copy as well as soft copy. There are many websites and learning websites and tools open on the internet, such as NPTEL website, MIT website. Scilab software you have to download. Each and every student has to download the Scilab software. This C number, Scilab software. Every student has to download this software. It will be not downloaded on your mobile phone if you are having your desktop or laptop. Please download this Scilab software along with the XCOS toolbox so that we are able to perform the simulation practicals. So I stop here. This is all about the introduction to the course Fundamental of Power Electronics. Thank you very much.